Yes. Okay, so today we will discuss a little bit about unit testing, and let me share my screen. There is a tool that I like to use that it sort of makes all the difference for me as far as unit testing, especially when I'm working on a legacy code base. When we're working on code that's otherwise untestable. But this tool is called approval tests, and well, let me just show you what it's about. So, no, that's not what I want. Yes, here we go. So, story time. Okay, so in my day job, I support a 20-year-old, 25-year-old Java desktop application. Okay, and when I hired on, it did not have any kind of source code control. I mean, the whole application was on one developer's laptop computer. So if he loses his laptop computer, the project is over.
Yeah.
It had no source control. It had no nothing. And so basically, one of the things the first thing I did was create source code control, and then I did some digging, and I found that one of the contractors he had hired in the distant past had created some unit tests. So I figured, well, you know, and they were all turned off. They weren't run at all. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and run these unit tests. And I read through them, and it looked like they made sense to verify that when you're retrieving a piece of data, that it's, it's got the right information in it, that the range is correct and all that sort of stuff. So I thought, okay, I can go ahead and turn these unit tests on.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran them, and they, well, you can guess what happened. They broke. They were broke all over the place. So I said, okay, well, I mean, what they're testing is valid stuff. So I'll go ahead and fix the issues that broke. So you can guess what happened then. The application started breaking all over the place. Because it was testing, some fundamental parts of the application that were used everywhere. I thought it's pretty important that these things be correct. Well, turns out we were dependent upon some of the bugs that were there, and so it broke everywhere. So when you run across a problem like this, you basically have one of two options. You either rewrite everything, or you update your resume. And I'll suggest an alternative that I call approval tests. Yeah. So the way that approval test works, you see, I have it here. Right. But if you can make your test-driven development easier, you can lock down your legacy code and facilitate the refactoring efforts you're wanting to do. You want to create example data and just have it all generated for you. You want to validate your user interface, even because user interfaces are really hard to test, especially on a desktop application. For the web, there's more tools available to do that sort of thing. And when a test fails, you want to get right to where it fails, and this is a tool that really makes it easy to do all of that. Okay. So enough talk. Let me show you how this thing works. let's say we want to create FizzBuzz. Is this font big enough?
Yes, yes, that is correct. I can see clearly.
Okay, then here, we'll go back to the beginning. So, you know, the rules of FizzBuzz are here. This has got the rules, I think. So the rules of FizzBuzz that, you know, on you're counting a number, you're generating a list from 1 to 100. You're counting, as you're counting, when you hit 3, you say fizz. When you hit 5, you say buzz. If you hit something that's divisible by 3 or 5, you say fizz buzz. So 15 would be fizz buzz. All right. So so what I do, here's what we would normally do in a TDD activity for creating FizzBuzz. I'm going to have my list of test cases that I think that I need to create, and then I'll start creating that first one. You're going to have we'll start with a size of 0 displays an empty string. Size of 1 displays 1, 2 displays 1, 2, 3 displays 1, 2 fizz, 5 displays 1, 2, 4 buzz, 6 displays 1, 2 fizz, 4 buzz fizz, and then 15 displays everything it needs to, and for the 15th value, it displays 15 fizz buzz. Okay, so these are the first tests we want to come up with. So start with a list of 0 size displays an empty string. Okay, so we have our first failing test. So we'll run our FizzBuzz test, and it fails.
Yes.
Come on. All right. So yeah, there is no generate method. Okay. Yeah. So what we need to do is create that generate method. Right. So I will use my trick that it automatically codes it up for me. I'll create my generate method. It generates an empty string, and I will go ahead and that. And we're green. Life is good. So the next thing we want to do is list of size 1 displays 1. So we create our failing test. This is what TDD looks like, right? So we have this generate 1. We go and we run that. And that fails. It says we expected 1, the actual was an empty string, because when you create your function, you have it do the simplest thing to pass, right? You have a failing test. You write the smallest amount of code to make that test pass, and then you have a passing test. Okay. So then we can make that test pass by if size equals 1, return 1. And then we add our test if it's 2, return 1, 2 on separate lines. So then we go and we make that pass by adding, if it's 2, if it's 1, we return 1. If it's 2, we return 1, plus a line separator and 2. And so, yeah, we can see that test passes. And we are good. Okay, so now we notice that we have this return 1, this hard-coded stuff. Let's go ahead and we will refactor this so that basically we're going to have a loop. Because that's what we do. You write the test, that fails, you correct it, and then you refactor it. So we're refactoring the code to clean it up a little bit. So now we have a loop so that we add, you prepend an empty string to a number and it'll convert it to a string. That's probably not the best way to do things, but it works. So now we get to an interesting one. You have a length of 3, it generates fizz. So I'll have this, this is a new feature of Java where you can have a multi-line string. I'll say, okay,
Wow. Mm-hmm.
use a three quote marks, and you can have a multi-line string. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I go ahead and I run that. And if it's 3, we return fizz. So it turns out the multi-line string didn't work, which is frustrating because that's not a system line separator. It's a return. So we go ahead and we refactored the test so that it would work. And now I have to go and refactor this function so that it will, right now I'm doing this line separator. So now I have to go and refactor this so that it'll return a carriage or a new line instead of
Okay, okay.
system line separator. So I can now use the multi-line string. Okay, so now I have to go and refactor all my tests as well. So I've got a list of size 2, I expect a 1, 2, and then I return a 1, 2 fizz, and now I'm expecting a 1, 2 fizz buzz. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we go on and on and on, and let's see here. So now we have fizz buzz, we have fizz and buzz, and we have to go and refactor our code so that instead of just saying if it equals 3 or if it equals 5, now it's a multiple of 3 or a multiple of 5. Then we'll do fizz or buzz. And now I'm saying, look at all this stuff here. This is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go and refactor the tests so that we call a function to go and do this stuff. So we'll clean this stuff up. So I'll have my get expected function. So it's going to just join a string by a new line. And we'll get the result that's going to go through for the expected. We're going to generate this out. And let's see here. So I get the result for the length of code that I want. Code is going to go call get expected. That's going to generate a string. We're going to have outputs. So basically I've created this outputs array so that I have something to look at. And I'm going to just grab as much of that as I need. So I'll grab outputs. I'll get the sub list from 0 to the number that has been requested. And then I'll return that result. So yeah, I'm kind of going around the bend to make it all work, but it works, right? And then finally, I get the part that generates fizz buzz. And so I only have to have this little function to do all that. So I get all of this, and I can probably refactor all of this and extract that out. And so I create a get number that goes and extracts out all the code that figures out whether it's fizz or buzz. And then we go and refactor to streams because streams are cool. And then it's like, okay, I want to add a test to generate everything that is testable. And it's like, okay, I'll have to go and create a list of 100 entries here. I don't want to do that.
Yes.
That's craziness.
Mm.
Okay, so let's do it using approvals. So let's go to, oh, here we go. And why is this not working? Just a second here. What the heck? Okay, so my this is frustrating.
That's okay.
I use oh, here we go. Diogo's here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I use Microsoft OneDrive, and and it has failed me. So let me go here.
Hi guys, morning. Sorry, I'm late.
Not a problem. How you doing? We are learning about approval tests, and you are getting here at just the right time.
Perfect.
Hi, Diego. Hi, Diego.
Hi, Patty.
Good
I
to
had
see
to
you.
drop, I had to drop my kid at church to I don't know how they call the school meeting they do before communion.
Okay.
Hi.
That's okay.
All right. Well, actually, so this won't be so bad. So here we go. What we will do is we'll come to our first. What is this? I clicked the wrong button here. Check out. There we go. Yeah, force the check out. There we go. All right. So basically we have our list of test cases. What we're doing is we're doing a TDD of FizzBuzz. All right. And so, list of size 0 displays an empty string. Right now we got FizzBuzz is empty. And then we go back to version control, switching. Are you kidding me? Did it just make it all go away?
The other tab, no, where?
I beg your pardon?
No. I thought this was another tab of version control, but not. You are in version control. What happened to the commits?
Your local changes would be overwritten. Yes. Switching. Okay, fine. So basically, if we want to create, you go away. We'll just go ahead and write this. I won't be as detailed. So I want to use approval tests. I will. Let's see. Does my project have it? Or is as approvals library. So I have approval tests in here. Okay. So what I will do is I will say Oh, come on, we know better than this. We say generate. Okay, I guess not. So BizzBuzz generates a test. There we go. I hate you. All right. So we have our test, and we say public void, and what do we say? A empty list returns empty string. Okay. And so I don't understand what I just did. This is crazy. Okay, so we'll say is buzz dot generate an empty string. Okay. And why is this not being recognized as a test? I don't understand this. I'm glad this did not blow up in front of a large group, but I'm also embarrassed that it blew up in front of
No,
you.
no problem, Scott. I've been there a
Don't you
lot.
worry. Don't you worry, Scott. It's really great that you're helping us. Really.
Annotations are not allowed here.
The JDK is not defined is a problem, but I think that
If I do it in here, then it'll work better.
yeah, it should try to set up the SDK above. There's a blue ribbon alerting you. This might help a little.
You're telling me, oh, Project JDK. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the commit that you wrote back, just erase
Got rid
that.
of everything. And that's and then it lost that it was a Git project, and it lost. I was like,
I didn't know that Git had this ability to delete itself or to roll back to a state that doesn't even exist.
That's craziness.
No problem. Why?
Annotations are not allowed here. Oh, yes, they are.
Well, what's going on? Oh.
If I go here and I say generate a test, this buzz
Okay,
test,
maybe. Okay, already exists. Update existing class. Okay, but
and it doesn't do it.
still,
Okay. I go here. Public static string with a capital S. Right. Int length return empty string. So there. Let's try this. Let's say generate a test. See what that does. Okay. So how come that one doesn't work and that one does?
your commits were only local.
I'm sorry?
Your commits were only local, or you had a remote repository? I mean, because you you could try
It was,
to
it was
leave
just
a
local. I
oh
had it on, I had it on, OneDrive, but,
oh
so, I mean, it's on my other computer, but,
no problem.
there. It doesn't like this for some reason.
Yes, doesn't make any sense, but okay, solving the problem, that's great.
There. All right, FizzBuzz generates length is 0. Empty list generates an empty string. There. All right, so whereas before, here I will show you my my tests returned an empty string. Oh, yeah, I've changed all that. That's not going to help. Okay, whereas before I would say assert, I'm going to use approval tests. So the way that works is we say approvals dot verify. Okay, so I'll have to go and go to my
This is probably the IDE. IntelliJ sometimes mess up
approval.
big
Do what?
time. No, IntelliJ sometimes mess up all the information. You have to do the classic invalidate cache and restart, and
Oh,
then
okay,
the IDE starts to understand again where this is. But
good point. Let's try that.
sometimes this happens because I've seen a lot of times they mislocate the code. They don't know how to build applications. Very strange.
Right. I have seen that as well. And that's probably the state that I got myself in.
To be fair, the IDE is pretty smart because the IDE can map a lot of things, but sometimes it messes everything. Doesn't work anymore, and you start to question yourself, what's happening here? And most of the times is the IDE.
Okay. Indexing my dependencies. There are many of them, so it's going to take a long time.
No, it's okay, it's okay.
Here we go.
But the whole idea of approvals is instead of asserting or verifying, the approvals do exactly what?
So I'm going to show you here. So for some reason, it stopped thinking this was a test.
It's getting better. Oh my god. Index everything.
Um,
It doesn't recognize the project anymore.
it doesn't recognize that. I've lost everything.
Oh my god. The folder itself, it has the classes. Dev learning source. Maybe. Oh, okay. Now you have changed, but not doesn't. Oh, look. At least Git restarted. Oh my god, what's going on?
I'll check out that. We'll do a force checkout. This is where I want it to be.
Yes.
There.
Okay.
But it's
But
still not
try
working.
to open the project settings here in the left tab. See if the folders are defined, the source folder and everything, because looks like where is the project?
I can't get to the project settings.
Yeah, project structure. Yes, that's it.
Oh, there we go.
Libraries. See the modules or the project. See if it has. Oh, okay. Click on the plus button and add the folder. Yes, to define it as the project
This is
module.
crazy.
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
sorry about this. This is,
No problem. See, I've been through this many times. The
yeah,
great part is when you
me
have
too.
when you have the
Jump.
code in a remote repository, you just delete the folder and do a git clone again.
I don't want to create it because it's already there.
Yes, yes, yes. No.
Okay. Source.
At least recognize the folder, but not the test. Yes, try to set.
Yes. Okay. Let's see if that gets us going.
Well,
There.
kind of look like doesn't port us.
At JUnit 4.
That's path.
Let's try the latest one here. Okay.
Okay.
Tools. Okay. Now we go back here. Libraries. It's there. Do I need to remove it and add it again? Problems. Google test is not used. Yes, it is.
Yes, you're trying to use it. What's going on? Try to remove the import statement or
I'm guessing that I need to just add it back to the
yes.
Okay, so F4 doesn't work. I don't know what's up with that. So OneDrive documents, dev tools, approval test. Okay. Now, and go to my OneDrive users OneDrive. This was, oh, I want to go to there's my tools. Google tests jar. All right. And there we go. Man.
Okay, IntelliJ missed the whole situation.
Well, then again, maybe not.
Wow. No.
I am bumfuzzled. Sometimes we get into this phase. I'm sorry. This is a
No problem.
and it went away.
Again.
Wow. Tools. Google tests. There. Okay.
It's ads. Seems to be working. Go to confirm that doesn't lose again. It's running.
All right, let's run it real quick.
Looks like it worked that time.
So basically, we've got our original test. Yeah, it returns an empty string. And but actually that should work. But here's what happens. All right.
To us it's great because I see that it's not a problem for me that I don't know, or I'm too newbie, but sometimes the IDE like to play with us.
Right. Binary text compare. So what this does is it automatically brings up your diff tool. So in my case, I've got what's that? Beyond compare. You see it's an empty string and an empty string. So received and approved are the same. All diffs show same lines. So that's weird. This should not have brought anything up. Okay, approved and received. Let's look at this real quick. Well, here. So we got approved, which is empty, and received. So basically, you see what it did is it took this list of size 0 returns an empty string is the name of my test. So it creates a file name, FizzBuzz test. That's the name of the class. List of size 0 returns an empty string. So it's the name of the test. And we've got approved and received text files. So basically, it will go and generate a text file. And for some reason, it's saying those are different. Maybe it's the way I've got my Beyond Compare configured. Let's try running this one more time. Or maybe it's that it didn't exist. Okay, so now
Yeah,
it's green, right?
exactly.
So once it passes, then only the approved file exists and the received file doesn't exist. All right, so yeah, the first time it's going to fail because we don't have an approved file. All right, so our next list, our next entry is list of size 1 displays 1. So list of size 1 returns 1. All right. So I will just pass in the size of 1 and we'll go ahead and run this test.
The second one failed because you didn't have the approval.
And you can see that we didn't have the approved and the received are the same. So now what I can say is, you know, what I expect it to have here is a 1. So I'm just gonna, that's gonna be in my, in what's approved. And so I will save this and we'll try running it one more time. Now it fails because it says approved and received are different, and they are in fact different. So now I need to make the received return a 1. I just come here and I say if um, um, size equals 1, turn 1. Else, I guess, yeah, otherwise it's going to return empty string. Okay. Do the smallest amount to make the test pass. And then we run it again. And we're green. which is pretty cool. So my tests are much simpler. So list of size 2 returns 1, 2. So now I don't have to go and create the funky strings that I had to in my previous project. All I have to do is have a text file that it generates as a problem. There we go. And so that's returning an empty string. So alternatively, no, I could just say here 1, 2, and I can save that. Run my test again. And now it fails for a different reason. Because they are not equal. So then I can come here and say size is 1, else if size equal to return 1 plus system dot line separator plus 2. There we go. That should work. And we're green. Okay. And then this is where we clean it up. We now say this is kind of silly. We got this duplication. We'll clean it up. We'll have a little function that says size is 1. Static string get text of int number. Here, string dot join, and the delimiter will be system dot line separator, and the number will be string dot value of number. There, and that's the proper way to do it. There we go. And this should work, right?
You have to add it to the generate.
There we go. So now we get to the interesting tests. So you've got your test that has multiple lines of stuff on it. And now we have, if it's size 3, it returns fizz. So instead of creating an example string here, got this, 1, 2, fizz. That's what I'm expecting. And then I can come here and say, oh, I didn't even properly refactor this. size equals 1. How about I just say return? Yeah, text or size. No, I got to do it this way. For int I equals 0, I is less than size. Right. So for 1, it will say string output. Or I can do a yeah, that's fine. Output plus equals um, um, get text of array plus 1. Right. And we will return output. How's that sound? So that should work. Okay. How did I do this before? Let me go look at this. Give me just a second here. So this is why I have it all. Oh, that's right. Yes, because I remember wrestling with this for a while. Here, I'll just copy it from here. There we go. So basically, I'll have an array list. It's going to build it up one element at a time. And then it'll do a join. And instead of this, system dot line separator. No, just dot add. And let's do this the right way. String dot value of. There we go. Now it should work. There we go. Okay. Again. Size 5. Returns buzz. See how quick this is to write the test. Whereas before, I had to go ahead and create a string of what I wanted it to look like, make sure that it all lined up properly. And so, yeah, this will fail. And then I just go and I say,
I just wrote some tests like this because I had to test the JSON that the API returned, and I had those huge objects. Okay, I built the object, then use string to JSON to build a string, nah? Then compare. But the whole tests were huge because I had to build the object. I could just simply write the text file with the JSON that I expected and try to compare it.
Oh man, that would be frustrating. Well, this should help you to save a lot of time. So this test fails. Well, this is what I'm expecting. So I can just move that over
Yes.
here, save it, and then run it again. And now it passes. So things go much more quickly. So I can write my test for having fizz and buzz, which would be, let's see, I've got two fizzes, two buzzes. I can, let's see, 15 returns fizz buzz, right? Buzz. So I'm running out of time, so I'm kind of speeding things up here. So if I div3 equals 0, I div5 equals 0, and I div 15, we say fizz buzz. You have to do that first, because otherwise we'll get one or the other of these. Right? And so go ahead and we'll run our test. This last one fails. So 1, 2, fizz, 4, buzz. 6 is divisible by 3, 9 is divisible by 3, 12 is divisible by 3, 15 is fizz buzz. So you got 5, 10, 15. So why is buzz capitalized? That's a problem. So let's fix that. There we go. I'm feeling much better now. So that's going to break my previous test. So I'll just have to correct it. Boom, boom. So that's what I want. Copy that over, save it. The other one, there we go. I want to copy that over, save it. And now everything should pass. Now the problem is that I would have had to go through, if I wanted, say I want to do the test for everything, right? Because it's supposed to go to 100, right? List of size 100 returns what it should. And before it's like, holy cow, I don't want to go and create 100 things and think it all through and all that. That's going to take forever. So what I do is I just say, okay, I'll run my test. Everything except this last one fails. I can look at it and say, okay, going all the way through. All the multiples of 3 say fizz, 3, I say 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90. All right, so yeah, fizz buzz appears everywhere it needs to. 5, 10, 15, 20, all the 5s have buzz. All the 3s have fizz. that's good. Let's just move that to the right. Save it. Run my test. And now I'm confident that it works. So this took me, I mean, except for the problem with the misconfigured IDE, this took me as much time to go and write everything by hand as it took me to sort of walk through everything that I had to go do and refactor in the original one. And I didn't have to go through and refactor my tests along the way. And when you check stuff in, you just check this in the approved files along with everything else, because I mean, it's just a text file, and that's really the part of your test. And it's created in your test by default. It's created in your test folder. So so it's really handy. You can now, you know, go and refactor. There's another problem I had wanted to show you, but I'm all out of time, and I'm really sorry about that. I'm sorry we got distracted with the configuration problem, and I appreciate you, Diogo, for helping me get that figured out. Here, I'll stop sharing the screen.
Don't you worry, Scott. Even if you have problems, you're also teaching us how to solve them. So
Right.
it is
right.
okay.
Oh,
Yes, yes. In fact, as I said, me as a noob, I think, oh, I might be an imposter. I'm a fake. Then you see that everyone has problem with these IDEs that behave like they are so smart that they start to do dumb things.
yes. Well, I wanted to show you where to find it. So you go to approvaltests.com, and you can click on the Java version. You can, it's got the how to get it from Maven, Gradle. It's got tutorials and that sort of thing. You can download the jars, or you can just copy this if you're using Maven, copy this if you're using Gradle. Next week I will complete this, the things that I wanted to show you, some of the fun things that it does, and we will just do some more on the testing thing. But in the meantime, I will upload this video so you can sort of walk through what I did and try it yourself. And we'll leave it at that.
That would be great. The first part that I lost, but I really like the process of doing
Yeah.
and in the response instead of trying to try to guess the answer and then fix. No, you just run the code, see if it works, and then you have the expected answer to the approvals.
Right. Yeah. The first part, I was just walking through how would we use TDD to create FizzBuzz. So I figured that's an easy one. And, you know, that'll be your, when you go on an interview, they're going to ask you how you write FizzBuzz, and how you know. And so, but also I wanted to show how approval tests makes it easy to do your TDD, because the putting together the tests is just really quick and easy. So anyway, I hope this was useful for you, and I will have to get going, but I appreciate seeing y'all, and we will see y'all again next weekend.
Okay, Scott, I won't
Yeah.
be able to join next weekend because I have my return flight,
Okay,
but I will check out the recording.
I will put up the recording very quickly so
Okay.
that you can check it out when you get home.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, God.
Good to see you. Bye.
All
Bye,
right,
Patty.
bye.
Ciao, ciao.